reason number 33 to get a Nissan. The cold. Because winter isn't done with us yet. Good thing the 2026 Nissan Rogue was built to conquer all conditions. With intelligent all-wheel drive, standard heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and heated mirrors, you can leave the worst of winter out in the cold. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue S starting at 0.4% for up to 36 months. Includes a 0.5% loyalty rebate for qualifying Nissan customers. Until March 2nd on approved credit. Conditions apply. Details at Nissan.
Welcome back to the Elias Makos Show for today, October 28th. I'm Justine McIntyre, and I'm happy to be sitting in today and for the rest of this week and next week too, while Elias Makos is in the United States covering U.S. election news. So keeping us informed too about how things are shaping up south of the border. You may have heard about this story coming out of Laval about warehouse workers for Amazon who were the first in Canada to successfully unionize. They were certified as a union on May 10th. Now, of course, Amazon contested that. And now in a new significant ruling, Quebec's Labour Tribunal has rejected Amazon's challenge against the unionization of its warehouses in Quebec. This decision is a pivotal moment for workers' rights in the retail giant's operations, potentially paving the way for enhanced labor representation and negotiations. Here to talk with us about that is Mostafa Henaway. He's a community organizer at the Immigrant Workers Centre. Welcome to the show, Mostafa.
Thank you so much, Justine, for having me on CJAD this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure. First of all, can you give us a little bit of background on your own involvement at Amazon?
So my own involvement is twofold. So I had actually worked at DXC4 briefly, where the union campaign was successful. And also the Immigrant Workers Centre, we've been helping to support Amazon workers over the last 3 years with filing complaints at the Commission de Normes de Travail, but also with CSST. We've also tried to put public pressure to say that the working conditions at Amazon need to change and that the government needs to step in to regulate the conditions inside Amazon.
Okay, so interesting because you have a mix of that firsthand experience and then also being on the side of being a spokesperson for the workers there. Now, I know that, reading through this article this morning, I saw that the lawyers for Amazon had argued that an absence of a secret ballot, that was kind of what they were hinging their argument on, that the absence of a secret ballot violated workers' freedom of association rights, so that they were signing union cards instead of voting in a secret ballot, but the Quebec tribunal rejected that challenge. Is that correct?
Yes, and I mean, unfortunately, it's a standard argument employers often try to make. You know, we are one of the two provinces that have what's called card check. As long as the majority of the workers sign a union card, then there's no it's not necessary to go to an election. I mean, to be honest, it is more or less an election. You had 50 plus 1 sign the card. There's actually no need for an election. So, card check does not exist in the United States, nor does it exist in the majority of Canada. We are one of the two provinces that have much more pro-worker and stronger legislation in that regard.
Okay, so signing the card itself is an act that demonstrates that there's a will to unionize, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that was accepted by the Quebec Tribunal then, and they rejected the challenge that there should have been a secret ballot instead.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, interesting. And how will this ruling now affect Amazon workers elsewhere in Quebec?
Well, I think it will give motivation to show that the union and that Amazon workers can organize, they can form a union, and this is the second ruling. You know, we had another ruling against Amazon's Amazon's anti-union practices in Lachine, the fulfillment center UL2, this past summer. And Amazon now has to pay a sum of $30,000 to all of the workers, collectively not $30,000 each. In terms of what it was deemed as union interference. So it's really showing that workers, that the law is behind them, the law is on their side, and that they have the right to organize. Because Amazon constantly, in a lot of in the workplaces, they have their own propaganda, they have their own messaging about the union and the negative effects of the union, and then the courts have stepped in to say, no, workers have the right to organize. Workers have the right to organize without interference. And so I think this really helps workers across the different warehouses in the Montreal area to say, not only do we need a union, which I think workers already know, but we know Amazon cannot stop us from forming a union.
Now, Amazon, of course, an enormous company with enormous facilities and manpower. How do you think that this is going to affect Amazon outside of Quebec? Like, I'm thinking about in the United States as well. And how do you think that they're going to want to deal with this within Quebec?
Well, I think this is going to have a real significant ripple effect, right? So you already have very public union campaigns in British Columbia. You've had, Amazon, the Amazon Labor Union, sign an agreement with Teamsters, one of the largest private employer unions in the United States. And so you're having now another wave of organizing inside Amazon, especially because, the wages have not caught up to inflation. People are working faster and harder, and they're seeing their wages get smaller and smaller, and they're seeing the profits of this company just skyrocket. Literally to space. Okay, so you touched on some of the issues there, wages and speed. We all know that, I think we heard a lot about that, especially during Prime Day, that the conditions were extremely difficult for workers during Prime Day. Can you speak a little bit about some of the issues that are pushing workers to want to organize? Well, some of the issues, in terms of quotas and speed, Amazon will tell you if you were to interview them that we do not have productivity quotas. But then workers are constantly harassed or fired for not working up to speed. So you tell workers that we don't have quotas, and then at the same time workers are punished for not working up to speed. And that can mean, workers moving hundreds of boxes an hour. Right? Going up and down the stairs, walking almost 20 kilometers a day inside a fulfillment center. So, and people are working 10.5 hours a day if you're full time. That's really taxing upon the body. And even Amazon has, admitted it. It has one of the highest injury rates in terms of the warehousing sector in the United States. A recent study also in Ontario and in Quebec also demonstrated that it has higher injury rates than the rest of the warehousing sector. And there's very little room for upward mobility. And at the same time, wages have not caught up to the rest of the sector. If you're working inside a unionized warehouse, you're making $28, $29 an hour. To Amazon, you could be making $20 an hour. So it's the wages have not caught up to the rest of the sector, and people are working harder. And I think that really is taking a toll, and workers feel disrespected as a result.
So we don't have a statement from Amazon, from the company right now. So we're speaking with Mostafa Henaway, who's a community organizer at the Immigrant Workers Centre. Mostafa, one last question for you. Are you expecting any further legal challenges from Amazon?
I think, of course, they do not want a union. I mean, their primary concern where they do not have to have a union, they will not have a union. You know, we look at the example of JFK 8 on Staten Island, where they've refused to negotiate for 2 years. And so Amazon will try everything in its power to stop a union from happening. They spend, millions of dollars on this question. And so, in Quebec, they're going to be legally bound to arbitration. So what do they do as a result? That will be a very interesting question. I think we're going to see Montreal be the epicenter of the future of Amazon as a company across North America.
Mostafa Henaway, thanks so much for speaking with us today.
No, thank you so much, Justine, for having me on.